Welcome to the channel. In this video is my UEFA Champions League match day 4 prediction. My name is Andy Fine. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment your thoughts and your predictions at the comment section. Please kindly like this video as a way of supporting me and supporting my channel. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started with the match day 4 predictions. Yeah, so starting off the match day 4 predictions is between Slavia Praha versus Arsenal. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Talking about Slavia Praha, so far they've played 3 games in the UEFA Champions League. They've lost 1 and they've drew 3. Looking at them, they've conceded 5 goals and they've only scored 2 goals in the last 3 games in the UEFA Champions League. Talking about Arsenal too, they've played 3 games with 9 points plus of 8 goals. They've scored 8 goals and they've conceded 0. So far, Arsenal in their last 3 games in the UEFA Champions League, they've not conceded even a single goal. And going to this game in match day 4 against Slavia Praha, a team who is also struggling to get their first win in the UEFA Champions League, I think it's going to be an interesting game coming up in match day 4. But well, because of the good team that Arsenal have, now they are not even conceding goals. It will be difficult for Slavia Praha to even get a point in this game. My prediction is a win for Arsenal, and I'm going for Arsenal to get a 3-0 victory over Slavia Praha. Arsenal 3, Slavia Praha 0. Yes, moving on to the next game in Italy is between Napoli versus entrance Frankfurt. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in match day 4. Napoli hosting Frankfurt in Italy. Talking about Napoli so far, looking at them on the league phase table, they are now 23rd on the league phase table with 3 points out of 3 games that they've played. They scored 4 goals and have conceded 9 goals in the league phase table in their last 3 games that they've played in the UEFA Champions League, and they've won only 1, so they have 3 points. Talking about Frankfurt too, they also have 3 points. They've conceded 11 and they've scored 7 in the league phase table. Frankfurt is one of the teams that has been scoring 5-1. You got 5-1, conceded 5-1, 5-1 twice on the row. So their games have been game of goals. And going to this game in Italy, Napoli too, for the past couple of weeks, they are struggling to get victory. So going to this game, despite it's a Champions League fixture, I'm predicting Napoli to get a win over Frankfurt because this team don't know how to defend, and I'm predicting this game to end in a 3-1 victory for Napoli. Napoli 3, Frankfurt 1. Oh yes, moving on to the next game in France is the game of the week in UEFA Champions League. Match day 4 is between Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. These are the 2 top teams who are now favorite to win this year's UEFA Champions League. And well, this clash coming up in France is going to be interesting. Looking at both teams on the league phase table, Paris Saint-Germain is now on top of the league phase table with 9 points plus of 10 goals. So far, they've scored 13 goals and they've conceded 3. So it means 9 points plus of 10 goals. Talking about Bayern Munich too, they are also second on the league phase table with 9 points plus of 10 goals. They have rather scored 12 goals and conceded 2. I mean, the games that they considered 3-1, that they considered 1 against Chelsea, and that's all of it. But well, I think so far so good. Looking at this year UEFA Champions League, this is one of the most interesting games. The last time these 2 teams played was in the Club World Cup, which Paris Saint-Germain eliminated Bayern Munich. Can Bayern get a revenge over PSG? Probably. I think this is going to be a very difficult game. And well, if I have to predict this game, I'm going to go for a draw game. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Bayern Munich 2. Oh yes, moving on to the next game in Anfield is between Liverpool versus Real Madrid. This is going to be a tough and a very difficult game coming up in match day 4. Liverpool hosting Real Madrid at Anfield. So far so good. Looking at the UEFA Champions League phase table, Liverpool is now 10th on the league phase table with 6 points plus of 4 goals. So far, they've scored 8 goals and they've conceded 4. Talking about Real Madrid, they are also 5th on the league phase table with 9 points out out of 3 games. They are one of the teams with 100% record. They have also scored 8 goals and conceded 1. The only goal that they conceded was against Olympic Marseille. After that, they've won all their last 3 Champions League games and going to this game at Anfield to face Liverpool, a team who has also been on some terrible run, but just this weekend they managed to get a 2-0 victory over Aston Villa in the Premier League. So I think they have a little bit confident going to this game against Real Madrid. What is my score prediction between Liverpool and Real Madrid? I'm predicting Liverpool to get a draw in this game against Madrid. My prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 2. Oh yes, moving on to the next game in Spain is between Atletico Madrid versus Union SG. This is going to be a very good game coming up in match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Atletico Madrid hosting Union SG from Belgium in Spain. Well, talking about both teams, looking at them, Atletico Madrid right now, they are 19th on the UEFA Champions League phase table with 3 points, scored 7 and conceded 8 goals. So meaning they have 3 points minus of 1 goal in their last 3 games in the UEFA Champions League. And going to this game against Union SG, a team who is also now 24th on the league phase table. What do I think is going to happen in this game coming up in Spain in match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League? My prediction for this game is a 3-0 victory for Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid 3, Union SG 0. Moving on to the next game in Italy is between Juventus versus Sporting CP. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Juventus hosting Sporting CP from Portugal in Italy. And going to this game, looking at Juventus on the league phase table, they are now 25th on the league phase table with just 2 points out of their last 3 games that they've played. They've got 2 draws and they've lost 1. And looking at them too, they've conceded 6 goals and they've scored 7. About Sporting CP2, they are also 12th on the league phase table with 6 points plus of 3 goals. They scored 7 and conceded 4. And going to this game in Italy against Juventus, I think this is a game that Juventus need all the 3 maximum points if they want to qualify to the next stage of the UEFA Champions League. And going to this game, Sporting CP going to Italy. What is my score prediction? Well, I'm predicting Juventus to get a 2-1 victory over Sporting CP in match day 4. Juventus 2, Sporting CP 1. The next game in Greece is between Olympiacos versus PSV from Holland. This is going to be a very interesting game coming up in match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Olympiacos hosting PSV in Greece. This game is a tough game. Talking about PSV, so far so good. They have 4 points out of the 3 games that they've played in the UEFA Champions League. And talking about Olympiacos too, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games that they've played in the UEFA Champions League, and they have only 1 point. Means they've drew 1, lost 2. They are winless in their last 3 games in the UEFA Champions League. Looking at both teams on the league phase table, PSV is now 16th on the league phase table with 4 points, whilst Olympiacos is also now 33rd on the league phase table with just 1 point, a minus of 7 goals. So going into this game is going to be interesting. Can PSV get all the 3 maximum points against Olympiacos? Probably yes. I'm predicting PSV to get a 2-1 victory over Olympiacos in Greece. My prediction, Olympiacos 1, PSV 2. Moving on to the next game in London is between Tottenham Hotspur versus Copenhagen. This is going to be a very interesting game coming up in match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Tottenham Hotspur in their last 3 games in the UEFA Champions League, they've managed to secure 2 draws and won 1. The game they won was against Villarreal. They got a 2-2 draw against Bodø Glimt, and their last game too, they drew it. Right now they are 15th with 5 points out of 3 games. Going into this game against Copenhagen side, who is also now 32nd on the league phase table. What do I think is going to happen in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in game week 4 in the UEFA Champions League? Well, what is my score prediction? I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to get a 2-0 victory over Copenhagen. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Copenhagen 0. Moving on to the next game is between Bodø versus Monaco. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in Matchday 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Bodø hosting Monaco from France. And well, going into this game, talking about both teams on the league phase table, Monaco is now 27th on the league phase table with 2 points, while Bodø is also 25th on the league phase table with 2 points. What do I think is going to happen in this game in Matchday 4? My prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw. Bodø 2, Monaco 2. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Qarabağ versus Chelsea. So far so good. Looking at both teams on the league phase table, Chelsea is now 11th on the league phase table with 6 points plus of 3 goals, whilst Qarabağ is also now 18th on the league phase table with 6 points minus of 1 goal. So far so good. They scored 6 and conceded 7. Whilst Chelsea have also scored 7 and conceded 4. Going into this game at Qarabağ, what do I think is going to happen? Can Chelsea secure all the 3 maximum points against Qarabağ? Well, despite Chelsea in recent form hasn't been that impressive, but well, in their last Champions League game, they managed to beat Ajax, who is also struggling. But Qarabağ too, they started well. They won their first 2 games in the UEFA Champions League. But well, their last game they lost. Well, Chelsea going into this game to face Qarabağ in Azerbaijan. What do I think is going to happen? Well, I'm predicting Chelsea to secure all the 3 maximum points against Qarabağ. My score prediction in this game is a 3-0 victory for Chelsea. Chelsea 3, Qarabağ 0. Yes, moving on to the next game too is between Pafos versus Villarreal. This is one of the most interesting games coming up in Matchday 4 in the UEFA Champions League. Pafos hosting Villarreal. Looking at both teams in the last 3 games in the UEFA Champions League, Pafos have managed to draw 2 and lost 1, while Villarreal has also got only 1 draw and lost 2 of their 3 Champions League games that they've played so far. So Villarreal now has 1 point, while Pafos has 2 points going into this game against Villarreal. What is my score prediction? Well, I'm predicting Villarreal to get a victory over Pafos. My score prediction is a 3-1 victory for Villarreal. Villarreal 3, Pafos 1. Moving on to the next game too at the Etihad Stadium in England is between Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund from Germany. This is going to be a very interesting game. For the past 3 years, always Manchester City meet Dortmund in the UEFA Champions League. So this fixture is even becoming a cliche. Every year we expect it to happen and they keep playing themselves back to back to back, but it is what it is. What do I think going into this game? Manchester City, their last 3 games that they've played in their UEFA Champions League, they have 7 points. They've won 2. In their last 3 games that they've played in this year's UEFA Champions League, they've won 2, drew 1. Same with Borussia Dortmund, they've won 2 and they drew 1. The game Borussia Dortmund drew was against Juventus, which that game ended in a 4-4. And the game where Manchester City also drew was against Monaco in their last game that ended in a 2-2 draw. What do I think is going to happen at the Etihad Stadium in Matchday 4 in the UEFA Champions League? My prediction is going to be a victory for Manchester City. I'm predicting Manchester City to secure a 4-2 victory over Borussia Dortmund. Manchester City 4, Borussia Dortmund 2. Moving on to the next game in Italy is between Inter Milan versus Kairat Almaty. So far so good. Inter Milan is among one of the few teams with 100% record in this year's UEFA Champions League. 3 out of 3. They've won all the 3 games that they've played in the UEFA Champions League phase this season, and they have 9 points. And while going into this game against a team who is struggling at the bottom, so far 3 games, they've also lost 2 and managed to secure 1 draw. So now they have 1 point out of three games that they've played in this year UEFA Champions League. That's Kairat Almaty, and we're going into this game against Inter Milan at the San Siro. What do I think is going to happen? I'm predicting Inter Milan to get a 5-1 victory, despite they've not conceded a goal in their last three games in the UEFA Champions League. I'm tipping Kairat Almaty to get a goal, but well, at the end of the day, this game is going to end a 5-1 victory for Inter Milan. Inter Milan 5, Kairat Almaty 1. Moving on to the next game in Belgium is between Club Brugge versus Barcelona. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in match day 4. Barcelona going to Belgium to face Club Brugge. What do I think is going to happen? Looking at both teams on the league phase table so far, Barcelona has 6 points out of 3 games that they play in the league phase. Well, the game they lost was against PSG, while they lost by 2-1. Club Brugge, they are also 20th on the league phase table with just 3 points out of 3 games that they've played, and they've lost 2 of their 3 games that they've played in this year UEFA Champions League. And going into this game in Belgium, hosting Barcelona, can Club Brugge host Barcelona and secure a draw or a win? Probably. This is going to be a very difficult game for Club Brugge. And well, despite Barcelona have injury crisis, but I think with the quality of players that they have and facing Club Brugge at this time, I think they have the quality players to get results against Club Brugge. My prediction in this game is going to be a 4-0 victory for Barcelona. Barcelona 4, Club Brugge 0. Moving on to the next game in Portugal is between Benfica versus Bayern Leverkusen. This is going to be an interesting game in match day 4. Almighty Benfica hosting Leverkusen in Portugal. So far, looking at it as it stands, 3 games gone, and now Leverkusen has 2 points out of the 3 games that they've played. They've lost 1, drew 2, so they have 2 points. Talking about Benfica, it's very shocking to know that as it stands in match day 3, Benfica are winless, they are drawless. They have 0 point out of the 3 games that they've played, and it's quite shocking. Looking at the kind of team that they started playing, and well, the only big team that they faced so far was Chelsea. And well, even Chelsea, they didn't concede much. They conceded 1-0 against Chelsea. And looking at Benfica, almighty Benfica, as it stands right now, they are last but 1 on the league phase table. Going into this game against Bayern Leverkusen side, who is not also impressive, they are struggling to get. They are all winless in this year's UEFA Champions League. What do I think is going to happen in Portugal? Benfica hosting Bayern Leverkusen. I'm predicting Benfica to get their first victory of this year UEFA Champions League, and I'm predicting a 3-1 victory over Bayern Leverkusen. Benfica 3, Leverkusen 1. Moving on to the next game in match day 4 in France is between Olympique Marseille versus Atalanta. This is going to be a very difficult game coming up in match day 4. Talking about Atalanta, right now they have 4 points out of the 3 games that they've played in this year's UEFA Champions League, and the game that they lost was against PSG. They've drew 1 and won 1. Talking about Olympique Marseille too, they lost against Madrid, and they've lost another game, and well, they've won 1 out of their last 3 games that they've played. They've lost 2, won 1, and they have 3 points going into this game against Atalanta. What is my score prediction? Olympique Marseille versus Atalanta. Well, I'm predicting this game to also end in a draw. My prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw. Olympique Marseille 2, Atalanta 2. Moving on over to Holland is between Ajax versus Galatasaray from Turkey. This is going to be an interesting game. Coming to know that as it stands in match day 3, Ajax is now at the bottom last of the league phase table, and going into this game against Galatasaray side, which have Victor Osimhen, who has been scoring crucial goals and securing points for them. As it stands in match day 3, Galatasaray now has 6 points out of the 3 games that they've played in the UEFA Champions League. They won against Liverpool. So imagine they have that quality to get it done over Ajax. Ajax too, in the last game that they played was against Chelsea, which they lost by 5-1 against Chelsea. And well, going into this game in Holland, what do I think is going to happen? Galatasaray going away to face Ajax in Holland. My prediction is going to be a 2-0 victory for Galatasaray. Galatasaray 2, Ajax 0. Moving on to the last game in Matchday 4 in UEFA Champions League is going to be at the St. James Park, which is going to be Newcastle United hosting Atletico de Bilbao from Spain. This is going to be a very interesting game, and while going to this game, looking at both teams on the league phase table as it stands in Matchday 3, Newcastle is now 8th on the league phase table with 6 points, and while talking about Bilbao, they also have 3 points out of the 3 games that they've played in this year's UEFA Champions League. And while going to this game at St. James Park, what is my score prediction? Newcastle versus Atletico de Bilbao. My prediction is going to be a 2-1 victory for Newcastle United. I will not be shocked if this game ends in a 2-2 draw, but well, my prediction is going to be a 2-1 victory for Newcastle United. So yes, these are my predictions for the UEFA Champions League Matchday 4. My name is Andy Final. Let me know your thoughts and your minds and your predictions too at the comment section. Please kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel and help me catch 5k subscribers, and I'll be very grateful. Till we meet in another video. Bye bye for now.